Sarah Mitchell's hands trembled as she dialed a number from the crumpled business card. Her daughter Emma lay sleeping in a hospital bed, blonde hair spread across the pillow, clutching her worn teddy bear. 2 a.m. The worst time to ask for help, but desperation has no clock. "Hello." A deep voice answered, groggy but alert. "Mr. Harrison, this is Sarah from the community center," she began, her voice breaking. "Emma needs surgery and I don't know what else to do." There was a pause. "I think you have the wrong number, but tell me what's happening." Sarah's breath caught. Wrong number. Of course. Nothing in her life went right anymore. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'll let you go." "Wait." The voice said firmly, "Your daughter needs surgery." Something in his tone made her continue. She explained how Emma had been sick for weeks, how the bills had piled up after her husband left, how the surgery couldn't wait much longer. "Which hospital?" he asked simply. "St. Mary's. But really, I shouldn't have bothered you. I'll be there in 30 minutes. The line went dead. Sarah stared at her phone, confused and exhausted. Surely he wouldn't actually come. Strangers don't show up at hospitals in the middle of the night for people they've never met. But 28 minutes later, a man in an expensive coat walked into the room. Tall, dark hair touched with gray, eyes that seemed to carry their own stories. "I'm David," he said quietly, glancing at sleeping Emma. "David Chun." Sarah recognized the name immediately. Everyone in the city knew David Chun. Tech entrepreneur, billionaire, the man whose company had changed how the world communicated. "I can't accept," Sarah started. David held up his hand gently. "My daughter was 6 when she got sick," he said, sitting in the chair beside Emma's bed. "Leukemia, we caught it early. She's 17 now and healthy." His eyes softened watching Emma sleep. "I remember those nights, the fear, feeling helpless." "But you had resources," Sarah said. "Money doesn't make the fear less," David replied. "It just changes what you're afraid of." They sat in comfortable silence. David made calls, spoke to administrators, arranged everything with quiet efficiency. By morning, Emma's surgery was scheduled, paid for, with the best pediatric team in the state. Emma woke as dawn broke through the window. "Mommy, who's that?" she asked, looking at David with curious blue eyes. "A friend," Sarah said, surprised to find it felt true. David smiled at Emma. "I heard you like to draw." Emma nodded shyly. "My daughter does too," David said, pulling out his phone to show pictures. "That's Michelle. She's in art school now." Emma's eyes lit up at the colorful paintings on the screen. Over the next few days, David came back, not with fanfare or photographers, just himself. He brought Michelle once, who spent an afternoon drawing with Emma, teaching her new techniques. Sarah watched this man who could be anywhere, choosing to be in a children's hospital room. "Why are you really doing this?" she asked one evening after Emma had fallen asleep. David was quiet for a long moment. When Michelle was sick, a nurse stayed late every night. He finally said, "She wasn't assigned to us. She just stayed, read stories, held my hand when I couldn't hold it together." He looked at Sarah. "I asked her why once. She said because someone did it for her mother, and kindness is meant to travel forward." "I can never repay you," Sarah whispered. "You're not supposed to," David said gently. "That's not how this works." The surgery went perfectly. Emma recovered quickly, her color returning, her laughter filling the room again. On their last day at the hospital, as Sarah packed their belongings, Emma was drawing at the bedside table. David had stopped by to say goodbye. "Mr. Chun," Emma said seriously, holding up her drawing, "I made this for you." It was a picture of 3 people, a woman, a little girl, and a tall man with kind eyes. Above them, she had written in careful letters, "My family chose me." David's composure cracked. He knelt beside Emma's bed. "That's the most beautiful thing anyone's ever given me," he said, his voice thick. Emma hugged him tight. "Stay," she whispered into his shoulder. Sarah saw David's eyes meet hers over Emma's head. She saw her own loneliness reflected there, her own weariness, but also something else. Hope, maybe. Possibility. "Stay," Sarah echoed softly. David did. Not that day, but slowly in the weeks that followed. Coffee on Tuesday mornings before Emma's checkups. Saturday afternoons at the park, where Michelle joined them, teaching Emma to paint with watercolors. Dinners that stretched into evenings. Conversations that revealed two people who had forgotten they could be seen. 3 months later, David stood in Sarah's small kitchen, helping wash dishes from Sunday dinner. "I got the right number after all," he said quietly. Sarah smiled, leaning into his shoulder. "We both did." Emma and Michelle were in the living room, bent over a large canvas, creating something beautiful together. The wrong call at 2 a.m. had become the right answer to questions neither Sarah nor David knew they were asking. Sometimes grace arrives through mistakes. Sometimes family is built from midnight desperation and the courage of strangers who choose to stay. Sometimes the longest journeys begin with a wrong number and end with coming home.